Lee Sin.
Yeah, true. First name Lee, last name
Zhao.
Sin. Okay, we're getting there.
Kind of thing. Screw drafts. We got some more important things to do. We got to figure
this
out.
Well, we just want it, right? Like, we're getting the standard 80 carries. Our chat, our audience knows what's coming up. Like, you guys are all Challenger by now because you understand this meta. Like, Thresh is
That's why
open.
they're watching LPL.
That's right. They're here for the big leagues, and for a big reason. Is Renata going to get picked? There's Thresh. Now, a champion like Renata that doesn't have much mobility, or let's just say an escape into Thresh, probably
Hysterics.
not the case.
I'm a level with you. It's not gonna happen. We're not gonna see Renata. I'm sorry.
Okay.
She's just not powerful enough, and she doesn't give enough utility to be able to justify it. Unless we saw like 5 bans put into support, we're not gonna see it. And I assume right now Ultra Prime are gonna be putting in their support pick right here, and they're going to be able to give themselves something decent. I wouldn't mind seeing ShiauC on something like the Nautilus, you know, setting them up, moving the Leona. Leona's slightly more countered by the Thresh. The reason why you generally take the Nautilus into this matchup is that your hook is actually a faster animation than the Thresh hook, so you're able to get those engages off first, and it's a much easier time for you in general. He's not able to stop you out with that.
Again.
So we're going to have 369 back on the Gwen.
There's
Not again, back on the Gwen.
Yo, do it in 10. 369 is going to be big. It's going to be big. And I don't know what to say. I'm seeing Gwen again. Such a powerful champion in the meta. And look at this. Straight away, JDG, like, all right, we're going to get rid of the cannon. Jace has been taken by Ultra Prime 2 times in a row. This is one of 369's best champions. We could just keep going around knowing that Aliez probably won't pick Jax. What else does well into Gwen? Keep naming them.
You got the Jax that does really well into it. Kennen as well, which has been banned away. Generally seen as a pretty decent pick as well. You could also maybe go for the Camille, but it does become a little bit more of a skill matchup. You will need jungle intervention there. Not really that confident, Aliez, being able to take that fight against 369, who has been a 6 or a 9 pretty consistently of late. And Ultra Prime, they ban away the Ahri as well. So we're getting rid of a lot of these AP options. JDG probably going to ban away the LeBlanc here just to make sure it's off the table. And no, actually going back towards the Syndra. So LeBlanc could be available. They could actually just first pick the LeBlanc themselves.
But I like you talk about mid because for Cryin, like, this has been one of his strong champions, the LeBlanc there as well. Worth mentioning. I believe that Ultra Prime, now taking away Yagao's Ahri, are going to kind of finish this up with something else global. Twisted Fate against him. That could just be pinched. Twisted Fate's big for both these mid laners. One of their most played, but instead they're like, nah, Kanavi's Lee Sin. So they could go for something that has a bit more global pressure. That could hit that top lane Gwen and get the ball rolling once again.
I think he got plenty of options here for JDG. I think Kanavi has shown previously, and even now, he's got plenty in the tank to be able to make stuff work. Something that they did hover there is the Aatrox, almost certain that's not going to be going, but big old bear. Yeah! Bears!
Bear!
Yeah!
A lot of energy. I feel it. We're getting a lot of bear in the LPL these days. Better start revving it up because JJ was the first to start bringing it in. We get a lot of Volibear these days, and it works well with the Gwen. So add some CC into your mix, and JDG's looking pretty standard.
Yeah, it's looking pretty damn standard. You're going to be able to go in with the Gwen and the Volibear. You're going to be able to try and, you know, get yourselves right on top of it. It's going to be about protecting this Aphelios for now. And you have counter pick into the mid lane. So Ultra Prime is going to have to pick themselves blind. Aliez on the Gnar again, as, you know, didn't have a great time. Didn't do badly. I think the thing I can best way to put it is that the Gnar mitigates a lot of that early kill pressure that Gwen should have if you're able to play the matchup properly. And Ultra Prime should be able to try and maybe make something work a little bit better for them. They have a little bit more hard engaged. The only thing they've changed from their last comp is basically the jungle and the bot lane in terms of the Nautilus. So it's pretty much the exact same composition they just had, just slightly tuned up with a different jungle and support.
We're JDG going a different direction entirely, right? We're getting to flex through all the mid champions that Yagao wants to show us. Zoe is one of his favorites, and we get it. We get the Zoe. We actually have a pretty strong mid 2v2 here. Orianna versus Sin, but you're going up against the bear and the 300-year-old girl. Like, there's a lot of early burst available for Yagao and Kanavi.
Yeah, there's a lot of burst there. You're looking at the AP damage. If you get hit by a Sleepy Trouble Bubble, you are just going to die. There's not really much else to say about it. And even just a single target CC, you're coming in. You got, of course, the Volibear with his Qs, able to lock you down. That lands a Sleepy Trouble Bubble that then leads into a Thresh hook. You probably CC'd for about 4 to 5 seconds in that particular instance if you do not have Merc Treads or Tenacity in your runes. So a lot of options here for JDG. But again, like I said, Ultra Prime, they're looking for a front-to-back team fight. They're looking to just try and scale up, get this Jinx up to 2 items alongside this Orianna, and just try and make a big old wombo combo happen. It didn't happen in game 1. I do think that was partially down to the Heck Room on the side of JDG, but I also think that Ultra Prime, they aren't really bringing themselves together as a team most of the way through these series. So if they're able to make this one work, it will come down to team fights, it will come down to them being coordinated, and it'll come down to JDG not being able to contain such a big wombo combo team fight.
Well, Hacker's just taking the jacket off. So I don't know what that means for this game. Yeah, that's right. We get business now from Hacker. Watch Hacker absolutely dumpster over JDG because he took his jacket off for game 2. We can see it, hear it. That's in how, and Sheen, that's right. That's how we can know. Hacker on the Xin Zhao. The change you talked about. ShiauC as well. A hook champion for this man always looks good. And folks, we welcome you back onto Summoner's Rift. Just a reminder, Gwen is not only immune, but in a great position going up into the same matchup from game number 1. 369 was an annoyance, and I'm sure JDG, that's the word we'll use, because Zoe, his name's not Bear, it's Volibear. Maybe that's it. First name Volley.
You got half of it.
Last name Bear. As get the Gyos. Listen to that. How long has it been since we've had Gyos?
I don't know. Maybe our production can tell us how many days. Kind of hard to know, though. But
999.
Been a while. Been a while. We're back. It's fun as well. We're in all the different studios. You've been to the Hangzhou one, right? You've been to the Hangzhou stadium.
Yeah, I've been to Hangzhou Stadium. I went to. I don't want to drop this, Ashim, but I went to the VIP. Yeah, I went and saw it from a nice little room. I got a really nice tour from the person that was running it at the time, and yeah. Had a great time there in Hangzhou and Shanghai as well. Same deal. Hongqiao Stadium. Pretty cool. I just love that there's, like in Hangzhou, for example, because it's LGD's home arena, there's a merch store. There's like a merch store in the side of the stadium. And it's huge. It's absolutely massive. So I kind of missed that with being away from it.
I know in the LEC studio you have, well, they used to, obviously it's been a while since fans are allowed in there. They have a merch store for Riot stuff, but they also have a merch store for any team that wants to sell its jersey there, which I thought was quite cool. You don't have to sell it if you're a team, but you know, you can if you want. I thought was quite a nice little setup as such, but
every team should. IMO.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm very indifferent when it comes to like team merch sometimes because it looks very like team merch. You know, it's like you just you're wearing a jersey and that's it. You know, I like the merch that doesn't look like merch. You know.
Yeah, I know. Things that can blend into society, right? By
not out me for the weeb I am.
Yeah, that's okay, but it's got to blend. It's got to blend in. I agree. Folks, you're wondering what's going to happen with this game apart from the dredge lines or the level 2 bottom lane that we're seeing. Machinery told you in draft the wombo setup from Ultra Prime once again. It's kind of a big deal. Ultra Prime didn't get it off in game number 1 with JDG picking their angles. This time around, Asheen, I see similarities, right? Yagao is going to be looking for his own angles and very intuitive directions of the trouble bubble. 369 still again the same Gwen, so it does feel like JDG are going back to a skirmish heavy style that seemed to have worked so well when Ultra Prime had no idea what they were doing, like headless chickens in game 1.
Yeah, and again, Kanavi's going to be able to be a little bit more aggressive. He knows exactly where Hacker is. He pretty much knows exactly what kind of a path he's taking. He doesn't know that the Wolves haven't been taken just yet, but now he's going to find out for himself, and we can see an early skirmish. Yeah,
here comes the bear on all fours, running after him. Sky Splitter comes through. Hacker goes back into the Sky Splitter. That's the question, because Hacker, you know he gets a shield. Yagao's on the way. There's going to have to be a flash burn as he's over the wall. Cryin now left out thanks to his jungle. And this is just going to be a lot of damage again. Sky Splitter in. First blood. Hacker, I just don't know what you expected out of that.
He wanted that big wolf so bad, and he got it, but it was definitely not worth it. It was just, oh, dearie me. And this is the single target CC we're talking about in bot lane. We're seeing another engage.
It's the same again. Ultra Prime's bottom lane, the 2v2 caught out. A flash ball from Elk. Running out of mana, but he gets excited. But Hope now with the Severum wants to run on in. Caliban connects as well, but that's where it ends. Graviton to follow through, but Hackers rejoined the play, rejoined the rift. A two-man Graviton from Hope. Severin with the flash available too. He gets tagged up, hit pretty hard, but Hacker at least gets the summoner after what an unsuccessful play that was in the top side.
Ends up being a 2-for-1 at the end of it all, but JDG really winning, and this is the single target CC that we talked about. Yagao able to get the trouble bubble, you're able to set up for the next one, and the next one, and the next one, especially when you're going up against something like a Volibear, which is so powerful. We look at the CC now on this bot side, it is just a really good opportunistic hook. This is why you start to see less of the glacial, or excuse me, more of the glacial augment and less of the aftershock coming in for the Thresh or even the Guardian, because it's just giving you so much follow-up potential that it just makes it so much harder for anyone to really get away from you.
I need to come back and say one thing. Everyone knows that you do not go inside a Sky Splitter of a Volibear. And seeing as though it didn't come down
That's just
Kanavi.
common knowledge. They teach you that in primary school.
That's right, my dude. That's right. Big shielding, big damage at level 1. Base stats are good as ShiauC going to get hooked on in here. It's missing. Who wants to send it on back, though? Excuse me. He started this, and now he's going to regret it. My stream completely frozen. But for now, Hacker waiting on top of a ward, so JDG back off.
Yeah, they backed up, but again, you can see good vision there for the side of JDG. They didn't overcommit because they knew that Hacker was in the vicinity. And with Kanavi now having full pressure in this top side, again, it's all about that information you're able to garner. JDG have had basically tabs on Hacker throughout his entire clear. They know exactly where he is, which means 369 can push in top, gets himself an early plate, so he's already starting to get advantage for himself. Yagao can be a little bit more aggressive as well. There's just these little small things that come out and become such an issue for Ultra Prime when you're against a good coordinated team like JDG.
I mean, that's 12 CS for Kanavi's favor. He makes the back happen, and you can see that Hacker now towards the top side of his own jungle, where the only camp up and available are the bottom sides that are spawning for now. A deep ward placed by JDG that are going to track him if he passes upwards. But for Kanavi, he's passing towards the bottom side as well, in front of that first dragon, which is an ocean, in front of the next scuttle spawning, which will be number 3. So a good early game once again for JDG. And Sheen, this is what I was saying. JDG have been a really good early game team. Really, really strong skirmishes in front of the first couple of neutrals, but have just been ready to shed blood in name of the Blood God.
I mean, they're some of the best of the Blood God patrons as we come into the regular season. But for JDG, it's been a bit of a moment since they were at the height of their setup. You talk about JDG, a lot of people might not know exactly who they are. They kind of only had one real breakout split. That was in 2020, where they went toe-to-toe with top esports. They were the top 2 teams there at the time, and since then they haven't really found the same form. They made some pretty big changes coming into 2022. They changed out their top laner completely, swapped Zoom out, brought 369 in, and their bot lane as well with Hope and Missing. 2 guys who arguably wouldn't be considered the greatest in the role, but have shown very good promise throughout their careers, as short as they have been. So for JDG, this is a bit of a rebuilding and also a rehoming to try and relive those glory days that weren't so far away, so far long ago.
Let me touch the edge of that point. Missing was a top 3 support in 2019 alongside Mystic, who then later went to the LCK, and it felt like Missing had to adjust to Elk, who he's going up against, funnily enough, as Kanavi's interrupting me, wants to smack down, forcing the flash from Cryin. And further to my point, I mean, Elk now with ShiauC, I totally forgot that we're dealing with a support AD carry, love-lost duo.
Yeah, it is a little bit of a, probably not previous team, previous duo as such, It's like when you see your ex out with someone, you're just like, I'm not mad. I got my own guy. And it's just, ShiauC like waving, like, hello! I feel... I don't mean to do ShiauC that bad, I swear.
But you did. But you did. Oh, my Lord. Well, ShiauC, look, I think ShiauC's been the strongest member of this roster, one of. Like, Elk and ShiauC are the focus here, and when ShiauC has a good game, you really hear about it. So here's hoping Ultra Prime could even out as Kanavi come back to the top side. Aliez flashed on, bear slapped, and Kanavi making short work happen. Dredgeline forcing a flash on Yagao, though. Was just talking this guy up, and it was a fake flash as Yagao takes the blue buff. He didn't burn his real summoners, and now he walks away with an extra buff on top.
I mean, I'm gonna say, that's so stupid that Yagao and Zoe can just pick up a flash that's not his. Even if he uses his own, it's still crazy to me that he's able to steal away that blue buff, gets himself the advantage there. That means with the kill top and the advantage they've garnered all the way around that top side of the map, they get themselves a Rift Herald. Hope can now start to rotate back over here. But the Moonlight Vigil.
Yeah, comes through only to Severum, so no Gravitum to root him down. Hope just sending him away, but turret plating was achieved by Elk for the Rift Herald trade. So for JDG, they're equalized against to the tiniest degree, but remember, Gold's at 2,000 in the lead, and as we get the replay up machine, it's your turn to shine.
It is my turn to shine, and this is just a good realization that the hop is down, and we come back in, and ShiauC saying goodbye.
There we go again. 1-0-1 on Hope. JDG's bottom lane in the 2v2. This whole series, they have been exquisite, and we miss it for a second. ShiauC obviously moving back to lane after the little roam to the top side. And that's going to be a lot of plating available, especially with Severum having a lot to churn out. Hacker coming down to stop it for now, and we'll just stop at one turret plating. So for JDG, still gold trade in their favor. We now move to 3,000. Pop the cork!
Whee!
And
it was just delay backs.
Well, there's not much it's going to do in delaying the back. A lot of gold going to be spent now. And this is what we miss in the bottom right, Shane.
Well, we missed the bottom right, but look at the main screen.
Yeah, a lot of trouble, a lot of trouble. ShiauC actually not going to die this time around. In the bottom right, you see a nice little hook. I believe the ward just timed out. So unlucky for ShiauC there as he cancelled his back.
Cancel his back. ShiauC recalling on a ward. Minute 20 till the dragon spawns. And Missing kind of giving ShiauC a masterclass on how to play Thresh. And they're going for a flash with the play.
Missing with the death sentence. Might not even be needed. Hacker's there, but he takes the jungler anyway. Kanavi turns his attention. Ulti still available. Might have to pop it sooner rather than later. Flash away as it comes through late. Elk is getting excited. And that looked amazing for JDG until Elk was not touched at all.
Yeah, you cannot just ignore a Jinx. We're seeing this so many times where you want to try and take away the utility that a Jinx will have to survive, but when you ignore the Jinx is still putting out damage. You cannot just leave this carry alone. Bit of a misjudgment there from JDG, kind of focusing on the wrong real carry there, recognizing that maybe the little bit of extra, CC you get with the Crescent Guard could be an issue, but not realizing that the real threat was in the Jinx the whole time.
I'm getting the Sky Splitter as well, so it's going to hurt you, so... Kanavi giveth, Kanavi taketh away. We've seen in this series what makes JDG such a volatile team in a good and bad way, right? Throughout JDG's recent years, they haven't been like that 2020 powerhouse. Instead, they've been a little bit like this. Unknown and bizarre. And for Kanavi, once again, he can have such amazing early game plays. And then he can, really kind of throw it all away. So for JDG, they will drop the Herald for now. 2K becomes the gold lead, as it's a bit traded back, but all that bit of turret plating given over to the jungler in Kanavi again. So he'll be a big deal, already finishing his mythic, and well and truly on the way to his second item.
Yeah, Dragon was picked up here by the side of JDG, and that shows you really feels like he's engaged, but don't go for it. But you got two Dragons now for JDG. This is kind of how they got stacked in the first game. This is pretty much a almost identical setup in terms of the first game. It is only a Cloud Soul, though, so not as damning for Ultra Prime to lose this one. But right now it is a little bit of the kind of tried and tested same setup. It is a little bit of a lead for JDG. They've got the Dragon stackings. And 369, though, I will say, is having a much better time against this Gnar. He's able to, with the tracking they've able to be put down onto Hacker, he's been able to be a little bit more aggressive. He's already got a level lead. He's already got 3 plates to himself and almost 1,000 gold on his own.
Yeah, 30 CS up. That Rift Maker making Aliez a little bit scared. I've noticed as well, with the jungle tracking you talked about, 369 has been able to walk in and take away some of those camps. Romp being stolen, deep wards being placed. 369 even taking the scuttle for now. Aliez stuck by the turret side. And they're trying to ping out, knowing that 369 is being a nuisance. Scuttle's also going to go down to him, folks. That's just a given. And Kanavi even controlling the bot side for now as Aliez going to go into Mega against the wall. He's in with the chance, but it's Gwen. I don't know what you expected here. 369 holding onto the ult for dear life, goes immune, and just walks back to lane knowing that Aliez is soon going to run out of his tools.
Yeah, you're down on level. The Riftmaker's been made. You don't win that fight anymore, even if you land every single piece of ability you have. And now, without his ultimate and without his mega, he's gonna have to back away from this turret because they get this for free. But Ultra Prime are in the vicinity.
Everyone's here. Yagao and Kanavi in a bad position. Real Flash burnt ulti over the wall. Ultra Prime with a really good response, and you have to give it to them. Making the quick move after Aliez used the ulti with some pretty heads-up thinking.
Yeah, I will say though, with everything being wasted, everything being resourced up into Ultra Prime's top side, it means that you're getting a lot of free time to hope, and you're getting a lot of basically all plates in all different lanes. You know, you've got basically 3 in mid, 3 in top, 3 and 4 in bot lane. You will be able to take this turret as well. So first turret goes over to JDG, and all of a sudden it's a 3,000 gold lead, Hysterics.
It's back to being big once again. The first turret blood giving solely to hope, and in game 1 we said the same thing. In fact, for JDG, they picked up outer turret and inner turret in one rotation, so it's not as bad as game 1 for Ultra Prime, but you still have to deal with Hope, who's going to be ahead in items despite Elk having 3 kills. I want to see if that's actually true. BF sword picked up, and yeah, I guess
about
for now,
500 gold.
Yeah. So something, right? Something.
Yeah. Sorry.
Gwen's in the game, but yeah, this is why 2 play-by-plays can't go together. We fall off the rampart.
No, this is why 2 play-by-play should go together. That's the difference.
Turret down mid. Get excited. I'm getting excited. Elk at half HP. Ignite was placed down by Yagao. Hey, you said something about gold. I want to point. 369 is almost 2,000 gold ahead of Aliez. He got topside turret. So if we're just talking about differences, ignore my point on 80 carries. 369 is going to be worse than game 1.
Yeah, Crescent Guard has been used.
Kanavi's in as well. He wants to Stormbringer down on the turret, but he doesn't have it available. Hope brings out his ulti, and Kanavi sacrifices life with the Ignite down, but turret ramps on up. 369 spotted on the wing. Ultra Prime paid the respect, back away themselves. Mid turret now under siege, and Yagao is hitting bubbles, baby, with a Paddle Star portal jump that wasn't available. He tried to snipe him out. There goes mid turret, and JDG, despite it being a trade, still win out in the end.
Yeah, you're trading junglers right there, but Cryin was on the bot side, didn't have TP, so you're already going to be able to overload it. Yagao now going to be able to answer that, so they won't lose too many minions. I think he literally misses 1, so yeah, might fancy himself though. Is Cryin, you want to back away, buddy. You don't want to be there.
You'd hope he fancies himself. I mean, honestly, that's just not a good merit at this point. He's 2-0, and if I had a Luden Zeko and stopwatch at 16 minutes in the game, I'd fancy myself a lot too, as Hope with a fancy foot himself. Elk is going to be trying to bust this one wide open because Ashin, he seems to be the carry for Ultra Prime once again, but let's look at this once more.
Yeah, great little utilization of the terrain there to get the bubble. Means that even with the Crescent Guard down, they are able to get the hook in. Will say that the CC train that's able to come out on top of Kanavi does stop him from being able to reset it, but now missing, and the mid lane's in trouble.
The play away and dead today. Elk picks up the kill again, and I wasn't kidding as 369 comes in off the wing, Cryin, flashes himself, Yagao forces that summoner out of Elk, and Ultra Prime, they need Jinx to survive, but when she's out of the fight, JDG will continue to thrive.
I mean, you're still losing these fights 2-1, since JDG still coming out on top. This will be 15 seconds before the Dragon, which means they're going to be able to put themselves on the soul point. Yes, it's not the most impactful in the world, but that extra little boost of movement speed for someone like a Gwen, a Volibear, very, very relevant in those team fights to be able to pre-position and put them right on top of those carries. So now JDG, it's just rinse and repeat. This is exactly what happened in game 1. It's going to happen in game 2, Hysterics.
Attempted to steal, and yeah, again, it just seems like history's repeating itself here in this series. Ultra Prime down 4,000 gold. Cryin trying to change that piece by piece with another outer turret going down. But as Ultra Prime try for this, as ShiauC is going to get bubbled. There's no Paddle Star. Once again, doesn't look like Yagao had that available. That's silly. Hope is 1.5 items, and ShiauC as a Nautilus. Apparently not tanky enough.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Yeah, you're going to be able to get a tower on the Ultra Prime side as Cryin has not really been with his team. And it's funny because they actually have a team fighting team. They just need to try and get the gold for it. But this is missing, kind of just getting caught out a little bit here. Actually goes for a hook. Actually opts into this himself and then gets caught out.
Well, ShiauC feels like the one that was caught out at the end, right? But he flashes in, and that's where the no-no came in.
But the no-no comes, he has to pop a stopwatch to try and get himself a little bit of extra time. While we were in this replay, we did see the side of Ultra Prime pick themselves up a nice little Rift Herald, but you've wasted a lot of flashes there on the side of Ultra Prime, and oh no.
Yeah, box is down, meter works out. Aliez, you're right, Ashin. It's a kill over to 369. only his first, but that's just going to elevate that gold he already had in his back pocket to a new standard. 369 unmatched in the side wave, and I love that JDG are putting resources down there to make sure it stays that way.
I mean, this Gwen is just becoming a monster. You're a hole breaker against a Rift Maker and a Nashor's too. Just Gwen is online. This Gwen is very much in a position to be able to carry on the side lanes. And I think taking the hole breaker is fine, but you're not really going to be able to do anything in these side lanes anymore because you're just going to be overloaded by JDG. With the extra little bit of movement speed, they're going to be able to get out of it. Now Hacker's in trouble.
Yeah, again, 369 chasing this one. Will he need the needlework? There's a lot of damage coming down onto this Zhao. Forward 369 runs. And this is the ridiculous Gwen game, but even more than game number one. Trouble bubble again, the paddle star, and a portal jump in front of ShiauC's face. Ultra Prime are threatened from a tier 2, and 369 is a level 13 Gwen, having the time of his life.
He really is, and everyone on JDG just seems to be playing with their food right now. There's not really a lot they can do. They are posturing so aggressively in that bot side, forcing everyone from Ultra Prime to answer, which is just giving Hope just free time and free resources as he just keeps pushing in towards this mid lane. Now that you've committed everyone there, you're going to lose a bit of tower damage here, and it's just smarter play coming out from JDG. They're just recognizing where they're stronger, and they're just pulling Ultra Prime around the map, and Ultra Prime are struggling to deal with them.
Oh, they got Elk. They got Elk. Does he have to cleanse away? Yes, he does. Ult comes through from Hope and the Portal Star. The Portal jump and the Paddle Star from the side does the same. Shockwave from Cryin. Gale forced away by Hope. And, you know, Shane, that's what I was saying. Elk is a big threat, but if he's caught, it feels so nice for JDG. However, I might have to start saying that about Cryin, who's started to farm up a bit 30 CS ahead of Yagao. And he is towards 2-item territory, so that Shockwave, another big tool that JDG are happy is now down.
This game is getting hard. To cast, to watch, to think that, yeah, to love, to hate. It's not hard to hate.
Okay. Well.
I'm being ruthless, man. I should not be a color caster. I'm absolutely
It
ruthless.
brings out the worst in you, doesn't it? I did the same.
It does.
When I cast TT versus LG, was it TT versus, no, TT versus RA, I almost had an aneurysm. I thought, man, watching these two teams.
I remember you texting in the chat being like, I'm so tilted. And I was just like, I'm sorry, buddy.
And who am I?
When you're a
Who am I to say anything, you know? I'm some garbage League of Legends player who happens to have a voice that can talk on an esports broadcast. But that doesn't give me the right to stand there and think that I'm better than TT versus RA. But I sure as hell do not want to cast that again. So there's
well, like I find that like the thing is like you can most play-by plays, at least in most like even bad games, you can find something hype to be excited about. But when there's just like two bad teams smacking their head against each other and seeing which one passes out first, it's just kind of like, oh god. Like as an analyst, like what are you supposed to do with that information? You know, it's just it's harder, man. It's harder.
You know, take a fresh perspective into the game, and we've definitely done this with JDG versus Ultra Prime, and I feel like JDG are a team that have today refreshed that perspective of being that mid-tier potential playoff team. Like against Ultra Prime, it's looked pretty good. They've made a couple of mistakes here and there, which is why they're not up in that top 4, top 6, but they're still a team that has explosive power, and Ultra Prime getting the feeling of it, Asheen, with 15 seconds to go before this soul. Ultra Prime walking into brush, and I would be scared at this point, considering that Yagao, Kanavi, angles to be played for, trouble bubbles to be dodged. That's what needs to happen.
Look at that ward on the ramp there. That's going to be the TP ward coming in here for Gwen. JDG are going to look to try and make this one work as we go 5v5. Here we go.
Hook misses though. Fox is laid down. Aliez is burnt. Kanavi right into the back line. They want the Jinx, but Elk flashes over the wall. Has the range. Kanavi goes down, but now I'm worried about 369, who gets the needlework through everyone in Ultra Prime. JDG with 4 members, but UP low health bars. Trouble bubble connects again. Dredgeline in onto the 80 carry. Shockwave only gets 369, but Gwen again as she flashes away is still alive. Yagao the same. The poke huge. JDG don't have a jungler, but they're sticking around. Yagao wants to get the kill as the flush play from missing sacrifices his life. Hope trying as well with the poke, with the crescendum, but Elk is getting excited. Ultra Prime's 80 carry. This is the win condition that brings him keeping on into this game as Hope, can he do it? No, of course he can't.
Oh my god, those health bars. JDG fighting 4v5. And it is Ultra Prime who get the dragon and keep themselves alive in this game. But most importantly, that is a 7-0-1 Jinx. Elk got all of those kills and kept themselves safe. So let's have a look. We saw the TP, but it's too early. They try to get the flash engage and it doesn't work, which means that the rest of Ultra Prime can reset and put themselves into a position to try and kill off the Gwen, which means that Kanavi is forced to go for this very desperate engage to try and catch out Elk. Once Elk is back into safety, he's CSing off to the minions to try and get himself back up a little bit of HP. And then it's a great hook here from ShiauC, and it's just messy here. Yagao doing so much work, I must say, with these paddle stars. He puts himself over the wall, and it's just down to whose health bars last the longest. He lands a trouble bubble. They will get some more damage here, and that was why I was so excited. I thought they were going to be able to turn it around, but Elk keeps himself safe. Elk keeps putting out the damage, and right till the end, Elk keeps us excited.
Well, Ultra Prime now in with it. They deny the soul, and Elk is said 7 kills picked up. This 1v1 just coming pretty close here. 600 gold for the shutdown too. 3 items versus 2.5. That's the 80 carry difference for now. But JDG, remember, they're still ahead, if only by 1,000 gold. And they've got 2 items on pretty big carries now. For Ultra Prime, I want to see if Cryin can hit a shockwave. We can get that team wombo. Because you already talked about it, Aliez, Cryin, big parts of this composition to make it easy for UP to give space to Elk.
I mean, Elk is the carry. Elk is the one you need to focus on. He's 3 items now, Rapid Fire, IE, and the Kraken Slayer. He's ahead despite being behind for so much of this game of Hope, who's still waiting for his 3rd item. And it's going to be on JDG to try and catch him out. They will say there is Elk no flash at the moment. And JDG, they're looking a bit skittish. They're scared to walk forward. They can't actually contest with this because Ultra Prime are actually a little bit further ahead.
Great bubble coming through, but missing. Zoned away by the zap. ShiauC having to get himself out once more. Those picks to be scared of. I want to point out that coming into today, you know, I had a small narrative on the side. I think Yagao's playing insanely well this split. Like, JDG might have looked like a mess opening up, but Yagao's been consistent, and again here on his Zoe, on his signature pick. He does feel like the one I focus on rather than talking about the Hope story, like versus Elk. If Elk gets caught by a trouble bubble without that cleanse available, it's going to be because Yagao has been nailing these angles.
Yeah, Yagao has been just an absolute menace and something on that he's so comfortable with. Zoe, we've seen it so many times in so many years, how well he's able to play this champion, and it does become a little bit of a pocket pick for the side of JDG when they are feeling like the stars align as such. But right now, his eyes and his paddle stars more specifically have to be trained onto Elk. He needs to become pretty damn accurate to try and catch out this Jinx, and with the slowdown of this particular mid game, both teams just waiting onto it, we are probably going to see a big fight around this dragon again in 2 minutes with all flashes, all summoners back and available.
At least around the warding of Baron, because for now, a team's kind of grouping up on that fact, clearing away Baron vision. Kanavi has one in the back of the pit, and I don't want to make sure that Ultra Prime don't clear out any more of these wards, but Kanavi is getting threatened by the big 3 men, count of 4 as well. Yagao hitting another one just for good show. You mentioned the dragon, so a minute 30 on that fact too. And surprisingly, with only a 1k gold lead. I don't know, I just feel like Ultra Prime in a better state of the game, depending on how the pick goes, but Shirelli is used, and nothing comes of it.
There's a TP for Aliez as he tries to come into a 369 though, trying to see if he can get a flank, and he's going to be forced to use his mist to make himself immune, because if he gets caught out there, they actually could probably kill him off pretty quickly.
He's a level 16 Gwen. I want to point out that he's 3 items over 2.5. The Gnar on the sideline dealing with the wave. There's JDG for now taking the advantage of 5v4, but not for long. Missing's just dead. Ultra Prime take the Infernal Moonlight Vigil, but they're healthy enough to continue threatening this forward. Aliez walking forward near Gnar, and JDG, you're threatening a game number 3 here as you're now about to be pushed in.
And this is just really weird positioning there from JDG. You know exactly where everyone on Ultra Prime is. You don't need to go into that chokehold as we can see them go for more.
Oh, he got him. He got him. He flashed over the wall. Yagao's real flash burn while 369 is taking all the damage in the middle of the whole team. Needlework coming through. Good. Elk. I'm glad he's kind of dead as Elk is still free firing, untouched. Hope get ready. However, Aphelios, he's the one who was created latest. That means he has to be more OP. 4, 1, and 4, 3 items. He remains healthy, and Hope's just going to solo this. There's no jungler. JG going to get solved.
They get themselves a soul. It is only the Cloud Soul. I thought Elk was just going to be able to pop off. Oh, my lord.
Oh, gentle Jesus. Well, they got it. They got it. JDG got the Cloud Soul. Over to the Baron they go. They've got an Aphelios with red and white. That means everything's going to be all right.
Let's have a look at the replay here, because again, this is a 4v4, or this is a 4v5 in favor of JDG, but a flash in from ShiauC. But again, you don't need to put yourself there as missing. You know you're going to be completely deleted if you do. The TP comes in and we kind of extend this fight a little bit more. But watch Hope. Hope goes around the long way here. He goes all the way around the back end of this fight, because JDG just know they can't actually continue to go around on top of this. So they have to just kind of like slowly build themselves around before they can go for this fight. And with both AD carries not really being available to fight this one here, it's down to Elk and Hope has so much just AoE there with the Infernum and of course the Chakrams to put so much pressure down onto Elk that it means that Ultra Prime have to respect it. They have to back themselves away.
Ready to, I'm ready to watch this one play out, because it's honestly, it's neck and neck. It's 80 carries doing 80 carry things. Yagao's been huge. I can see a Shockwave coming up from Cryin. The only problem I have is that 369 takes so long to die. And now with Needlework, his ability to reposition or chase up with that Ghost available is actually going to be the most insane part about the Soul Taken. So the JDG group around the Baron, notice that teleport that is available. And we have a 3.5 item Gwen that is sitting with the Warden's Mail. I want to know if that's going to be upgraded. Kindle Gem picked up with Trouble Bubble there too. JDG have a River Priority, Ashin, and 369 is moving back towards the top side.
Yeah, important to recognize where the flank wards are. You do have a TP onto 369. You do not have a TP on anyone on Ultra Prime, but you gotta be careful with these bubbles and these paddle stars as the Moonlight Vigil comes
look,
out.
They're coming in. Kanavi wants the flanking angle. Hacker already got burnt out. Elk cleanses the way. They got the flay onto Elk, but he buys the space. Kanavi in the back line stuns him down.
He's dead.
They want to kill him though, but he's taken so long. Yagao flushes into a shockwave. Elk now given the shield. That's a triple kill from 369 on the back end. Chat, you're gonna have to relive that one because 369, he did the same thing Elk did on one side.
It's a 3 for 3, but you've got so much health left on the side of JDG. You can 100% go for this Dragon, or this Baron, I should say, because you just have a much bigger health bar. You got to be careful, though, because Elk and Cryin are still around.
All right, and healed up as well. Elk is 11-0-3 with 4 items. The new Maw picked up, and he wants to chase 369. They turn for the Baron with the AoE, but they're not going to start it themselves. They disengage, and that means that JDG have to buy their time for the time being. 369's going to back away himself, and we get to the point where, once again, Ultra Prime and JDG do not resolve this game.
Do not resolve the game. I will just have a quick shout out. Yagao bottom Edge Soul Stealer and has now stolen full of. They throw everything at the Jinx, but with the Maw, the kiting, the cleanse, the flash, he's just about able to keep himself alive and well. They give him everything whatsoever. They can't kill him off, but look at 369 on the back end of this fight. He is just doing so much because they're ignoring him. They're trying to get on top of Hope, trying to kill off the Aphelios. It's just not going to work out for you on the side of Ultra Prime. Ends up being a 3 for 3 because you ignored some of the carries. And like you said, we're at the late game point of the game where everyone's a carry. If you ignore the Gwen will carry. If you ignore the Zoe will carry. You have so many threats on JDG. Ultra Prime are struggling to figure out where to go.
I am the carry now. Everyone's shouting in all chat. Yagao, not about his, bubbles as much anymore, but having said that, ignore that last point. Elk doesn't have cleanse from the last fight. If Yagao hits a bubble, Elk's in so much trouble. As Hacker narrowly avoiding one, and Ultra Prime grouping as a 5-man towards mid lane. JDG know this is cleanse. Trying to bait this out, start the Baron buff. They have to walk in step by step.
Yeah, they're going to use the rocket there to try and set them out. But like you said, there's no flash, there's no cleanse here for Elk. He's going to have to walk in blind. If he gets caught, he's dead.
I'm watching Missing as well with that Death Sentence 369 running forward. They want to end this right now. Boxes down. Missing, though, not getting what he wants as the bubble comes through from Yagao. But over the wall, he doesn't give in. He's scared of the shockwave from Cryin. And again, we sit at a standstill. I feel like it's just going to be a flip for Elder.
Gonna basically come down to it. Ultra Prime just happy to let this one wait out because you're waiting on big key cooldowns. We talked about how Elk doesn't have his flash or cleanse. Hope does not have his flash or heal either. So you are very much aware of that. If any of these AD carries get caught out, they will just basically be deleted. And now teams reset, they get themselves back onto the map. They try and push out these side waves. And we are pretty much going to have a situation where you might have to end up trading, but 369's on the flank.
Yeah, he is. And he's found Cryin. They found the Orianna and flashes away. Now that that's down, the two-man shockwave won't do much as he buys time. But Kanavi tanky enough, ults over the wall. Cryin, he does not escape. 369 with a perfect angle. And once again, the core carry of this team.
Really well played there by 369. Puts himself in a position where he knows he's going to be able to try and force some kind of an awkward position here from the side of Ultra Prime. And now with the Baron going down, 40 seconds until that dragon spawns. You will have TP on Cryin, so he should be able to basically spawn and get himself right back towards that pit. But it's going to need a little bit of a pretty big fight here from Ultra Prime if they want to try and come back into this.
I am going to be so outraged if from this play, people do not spam 9. 369 gets Gwen. But more importantly, positions like an absolute madman.
Yeah, and again, this is the power of the Gwen. You pop the Ghost, you're so much faster in the later stages, and you're just doing so much damage to be able to burn down people. And now a Cryin spawning in 4 seconds alongside that Elder Drake. He's going to have to TP pretty much immediately if he wants to try and be a part of this fight.
Because with the Elder spawned up, JDG are going to try and take a quick stick. TP using immediately as look at 369 in the top lane, keeping them busy. Scuttle gets obliterated in the process. JDG are buying time, but look at that. Oh no. We've got Calibrum, we've got Crescendum, and JDG have got the space to play around with it while the Baron does the dirty work. Up at the top side, Yagao, his angle perfect on top of Hacker. Ultra Prime still scared of Sheen.
Very, very scared. They're going to have the TP coming in from Gwen, though. It's going to be a 5v4. They're going to bring the Gnar in a little later.
Yagao might have to choose whether he comes back in. He's in a weird angle as Aliez is about to go into ulti. Kanavi jumps on in, onto Elk once again, the AD carry, but he's bought his space. His Shockwave doing the same. The Gnar ulti to Yagao. Can't get Elk as the rain started to become a big thing, but Hope is just as dangerous. Look at the Gravitum fly. Everyone coming in for a big surprise as the cork doesn't pop off the wine bottle. Elk is still alive, but Hope is much bigger.
I mean, you got to be so careful with this. Your health bars are not very healthy here on Ultra Prime. They're not going to try and flip it, though.
Friend.
Oh, Elk's still alive, though.
Elder friend. It's over, Rashid. JDG,
It is.
they played with their elder friend, and they're going to pick it up. That's in the bag. Feels like a pretty successful game, but we'll remember it was back and forth. Not going to call it too early, but we'll have a look at the fight again.
Yeah, and this is, again, look at the amount they put onto Elk. With the cleanse, though, he's able to keep himself safe, push them both back, even gets the Mob on Mortius popped out as well. And this is a full item late game Jinx alongside a full item late game Aphelios. So the Gravitum picks up the Nautilus. They do end up resetting them back out. This is where it gets a little bit risky here from JDG, but I love this from Missing. He doesn't go with his team. He goes straight towards the Jinx and says, look, I will sacrifice my life. It does not matter. All I know is you're not getting near this pit.
I love that JDG keep us going for a 36-minute game, and we decided from one simple play. I think 369 getting the pick changed the way this game was being played when we were so back and forth trading a neck and neck as, oh my god, fake flash used by Yagao. It was 369 who got the pick alongside Kanavi. They got the Baron and then started forcing that Gwen in the side lane as they're still doing. Yagao is having free reign over these deep mid lane objectives, and Ultra Prime are scared to their boots of this Zoe landing. Excuse me, another sleepy.
Got no Baron though. That's the only problem for JDG right now. Your composition outside of the Calibrum for the Aphelios is very, very short range. So very easy for an Orianna and a Jinx to clear these minions, and even a Mega Gnar as well. So not the hardest thing for them to be able to try and defend this, but they're going to go for the last fight on the tower.
He's just running in. He's just running in. Hacker has to deal with 369 who ultis for the kill on top of Elk. That was one-shot territory as Cryin's now next. Late game Gwen is burning people alive. That's how you do it. No fear, no worries, and no mercy in this dojo.
No mercy at all. JDG beating down Ultra Prime and saying to them, you are not climbing up to us. They set themselves up to 6 and 5.
Well, previously named Caster Penguin, that was a good series. That was great. JDG in game 1 and 2 kind of gave us the bloody early game we expected with the shenanigans thrown in. Remember that this team is not what we'd call clean. Like, Kanavi is a crazy dichotomy of his own good and evil self. And I love watching JDG, but I also think sometimes, what were they thinking in that moment? And that's why maybe they're one of the most entertaining teams at the moment.